New Year's resolutions. Everyone at some point in their lifetime has either thought about one, heard about them, or failed miserably at trying to achieve one. And you either love them or you hate them. Isn't that the Marmite slogan? Whichever you are, it doesn't stop thousands, if not millions of people across the world taking up a new skill or learning to run or trying to go to the gym more often just to fail a couple of months later. Well, I'm here to make sure that you don't end up like all of those people and give you some bulletproof tips to help you do your New Year's resolutions the right way. Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be me giving you some tips on how you can nail your New Year's resolutions going into 2024. However, it is also Christmas Day morning and I'm getting ready to go on my annual festive run like I have done for the past 3 years or so. As I've got more involved in the running community and I've started following more runners on Instagram and TikTok, I've realised that it's actually pretty common to go for a run on Christmas Day. And as I said, I've been on a run Christmas Day morning for the last 3 or 4 years now, and it's kind of becoming an annual tradition. But as this is my first time doing it on YouTube, I thought it'd be quite a fun idea to see how many people I can say Merry Christmas to whilst I'm out running. We've only got an easy 10k planned for this morning, so it's not like I'm going to be out running for hours and hours, but still enough time to hopefully see a few people and say Merry Christmas. If you want to miss out the running part of the video and skip ahead to the tips, I'll leave the time code somewhere on the screen now, but it'll also be in the video description. Humbug. But for everyone else, let's go spread some festive joy. Thank you. Happy Christmas. Morning, Merry Christmas. Morning, Merry Christmas. I think that's 4. Morning, Merry Christmas. Christmas Day run complete. 6.2 miles in 48 minutes. I think I said Merry Christmas to 6 people. I don't know, but that is now a record I can try and break every year. I'm gonna go wish my family Merry Christmas and then I'll catch you in a second for these amazing tips. Right, let's get these tips underway. For my first tip, I've actually got a question for you. What's your why? One of the biggest reasons my resolutions have sort of faded out is because I never gave them any substance. They never really had anything to work towards and they never had a why. Finding a why is one of the best ways to hold yourself accountable for any goal you set yourself in your life. It's a way of motivating yourself on the days where you don't really want to try, and I guarantee it's going to be one of the biggest factors that helps you stick to your resolutions. Now, I'm going to talk about my goals for 2024 in a later part of the video, but just for an example, as you probably all are aware of, one of them is to run a marathon. Now, what's my why? Apart from being an idiot, something like 1% of the entire population on Earth run a marathon every year. 1%! That means if I was in a room with 500 people, myself and 4 others would be the only people to have ran a marathon. And as painful as the training might be, it's actually a massive release for me mentally. I feel so much worse on the days where I don't run compared to the days where I do. For a lot of people, their New Year's resolution is to just take up running. And if you're one of these people and you're struggling to find a why, try entering a race. There are tons of 5 and 10k races for you to enter in the UK and even in the entire world. And by entering for a race in a couple of months' time, it's going to be a massive factor for you getting out the door and actually sticking to your New Year's resolution. If you're still struggling to figure out what your why is, leave a comment with your resolution below and I'll try my best to give you a hand. And it doesn't have to be running related, it can be literally anything. Right, let's move on. So my second tip is you're allowed to miss days. Like, you're allowed to have a day off. A type of resolution I used to hate with a passion was when someone would say, I'm going to do X every day in January. There is so many things wrong with this type of resolution. For starters, it's literally a guaranteed way to burn yourself out in the first month of the entire year. January is already stressful enough with returning to work and kids going back to school and trying to sort your life out for the rest of the year. The last thing you want to do is stress yourself out with trying to do something new every single day. And then on top of all of this, the moment you miss a single day, all of that intrinsic motivation you've built up is suddenly gone, or is it? You see, I used to think this type of resolution was doomed to fail from the start. But then something clicked and I realized missing one day doesn't disregard all of the progress you've made on previous days. Let's say your New Year's resolution was to read 10 pages every day in January, but on January 15th, you missed a day because you had to stay late at work. Rather than letting all of that motivation disappear over one little day, think about the previous 14 days where you read 140 pages. I'll bet my dog that that's 140 pages more than you expected to read. I don't have a dog, so that's kind of an empty bet. What I'm getting at is you will miss days, and it's okay to have a day off every once in a while. But what you can't do is let your days off compound over time to the point you lose progress. So going back to the example, if your goal is to read every day in January and you do, for whatever reason, end up missing a day, just think about all of the progress you've already made and just try twice as hard to make sure you don't miss 2 days in a row, because that's when things start to get a little bit harder. For tip number 3, I need to go and grab a book. Tip number 3 comes from a book I recently read titled Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, the book is entirely based around forming habits and making them easy to incorporate into your daily life. And one of the key laws that Clear talks about in the book is making habits easy. The entire segment is based around making the habit, which in our case is our resolution, as easy as possible. Some examples of this would be setting your running clothes out the night before going on a long run, or leaving a book on your pillow when you make your bed in the morning. Little things like these make it so much easier for us to stick to our newfound resolutions, because we're creating an environment where good behaviours thrive. In the book, James Clear also talks about something titled the 2-minute rule. And I found this rule super helpful on the days where your motivation is super low. Essentially, what you need to do is scale your resolution down to a task you can complete in 2 minutes or less. For example, reading 1 page of a book. And then quite simply tell yourself, all you need to do is this 2-minute task, and then if you really want, you can stop. However, the chances are, because you've already shown up for that 2-minute task, you are so much more likely to continue doing your habit because you're already there. Now, this does seem like you're trying to trick your brain, and you may be thinking, well, surely I know I'm going to do the habit for more than 2 minutes. And that is exactly why there is no obligation to do more than the 2 minutes you set out to do originally. Because either way, you've made 2 minutes of progress onto your resolution. I don't really know why I walked out of the room, because my next tip's being recorded just over there. Like, literally just turn the camera. My 4th and final tip is more of a statement. It's you versus you. Now, don't get me wrong, social media is a great place for sharing progress and new milestones, but it's also a source of negativity, stress, and quite a bit of anxiety. So whatever you decide your resolution to be, try not comparing yourself to how others are doing, because the only person you are truly competing against is your old self. The hard work, determination, and drive to achieve any goal in life is all done when no one is watching. And then when the big day finally comes around, it will feel so good to show everyone just how far you've come to achieving your goals. Speaking of which, this is probably the perfect time to segue into my goals for 2024. I'm pretty sure I've set myself goals every year for the last 3 or 4 years, and whilst I don't always stick to what I write down word for word, it is nice to have them in the back of my head just to make sure I'm heading in the direction I want to head in. My biggest and main goal for 2024 is my marathon, and the goal really is as vague as I want to run a marathon. No real time target yet, and nothing else planned that could potentially get in the way of me completing it. This marathon has already tested my body more than I expected, so the day I complete it, I just really hope that the feeling is unmatched to anything else I've ever felt before. Now, a goal for 2024 that I want to achieve all year round is I want to document my life more. I'm in a very fortunate position to own the camera I own, and there are definitely times where I'm going somewhere that's really cool and I should take my camera with me, but I just don't because it's an extra thing to carry and I'm just not really feeling it. Hang on, let me grab something. Smile. I'm hoping that by having a digital camera this size, it can help change that. It's literally pocket sized and I've set it up so it captures images in a very similar look to what a disposable camera would. And because it is slightly outdated, the images just look a little bit cooler on it. And then my final goal for 2024 is I want to work on more passion projects, which includes things like this YouTube channel. This past year, I bogged myself down with a mindset that told myself I was only allowed to create certain types of content. And of course, this led to burnout. So for 2024, rather than hunting the algorithm in every single video, I'm actually going to work on projects for YouTube and social media that just make me happy. Every time. I am someone who fully thrives off other people's success. Like, whenever I see someone working towards something new or achieving one of their ambitions, it just ignites something within me to try just that little bit harder to achieve my own goals. So I would absolutely love it if you could take a minute to leave a comment on this video saying a goal that you're going to be working towards in 2024. Because the internet is kind of a wild place and more than likely someone else is going to be working towards the exact same goal. Now, the tips I've shared in today's video are in no way only applicable to New Year's resolutions. I apply these exact same tips to every single goal in my life all year round, and they are the foundations in which all of my habits are built off of. And I really do hope by watching today's video, they've brought just even 1% extra value to your life. But sadly, that is the end of today's video. If you've enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like as it means so much to me and it helps my channel get seen by more people just like yourselves. And if you want to follow along and be part of my marathon journey, as well as all the other goals I expressed in this video, then maybe hit that subscribe button whilst you're down there. I'm pretty sure that the release date for this video is December 30th. So I hope you all had an amazing Christmas, however you chose to spend it, and I wish you all the best for the new year, and I cannot wait to see all of the comments about what you want to achieve in 2024. And with all that being said, I guess I'll see you next year. Man, that was such a corny ending. Tip number... Jesus wept.